Robert, are you ready?
Yeah, I am. If you're not going to be too tough on me.
I have the highest respect in for everybody there here tonight. This is part one of the CELLUVie training, and we have a special individual. I just read the inspiration, your inspiration for CELLUVie back in 2000. And I think I couldn't think of a better way for people to get to know you, what's important to you, and then how CELLUVie came about after all these years. So could you maybe start with that and tell us, what happened in the year 2000 that
Yeah,
inspired you?
man, you're going back a ways, my friend. Yes, actually, back then I was in the food industry, and I got a horrific statistic that 15 million children were orphaned of AIDS in Africa. Now, to put in proper perspective, 15 million children were half of the Canadian population. Try to imagine, people on the line tonight, that these children were going to be raised without the guidance, the love, the affection, and the care of a parent. And I told my wife it made no sense whatsoever. And I decided to leave the food industry, go into science, and find a solution. And it took 7 years of research. It took 47 years of empirical study. And we have what a patented therapy. And actually, the product we're going to be discussing tonight is the foundation for that therapy. So, point in cases, it was, you know, um, at a certain age, I asked myself, what am I going to do further on in my life? And I'm always happy when I can contribute to someone, whether it be a Christmas party or helping, I'll move. And that was the inspiration for what we're going to be discussing tonight. So thanks for asking, because
Sure.
not too many people take the time to research this, and you're bringing me back 20 years in the making, man.
When we were both of our, we had more here and it was a different color.
Yep, yep.
Okay, so what is glutathione?
Well, okay. I'm gonna try to make this as simple as possible. It's a tripeptide. It's basically three amino acids that you put together, and the reaction, the biochemical reaction intracellularly, creates what we call glutathione, which is a phenomenon which basically protects your organism from becoming a cellular debris from oxidative stressors. So basically, glutathione is actually as important to your well-being as drinking water, breathing air, or even eating food. It's actually been put in the same category as water for your survival. But for
Wow.
people to understand, it is there just as a biochemical reaction which protects your cells, and it's actually controlling just about every function in your body. So it becomes very important. It's backed by over 150,000 medical articles. And sorry, David, but sometimes I tend to
Yeah.
go on.
No.
But there's not one pharmaceutical product in the world that is researched, not even 1/10 of what this molecule can do. So it is a fantastic phenomenon. Yeah.
It's terrific. Just before we got on the webinar tonight, I went into Google and put in glutathione. There's 26 million, you know, things that pop up, articles,
Yeah.
whatever, everything. And then, but what's really important is what you just said is, you said this on the last call, 150,000 on PubMed. If people go on PubMed, now this is, real National Institute of Health, you'll find research, you'll find it from really credible institutions. And I think when you're putting something in your body, especially, you know, as you're telling us, it's vital to life itself, then people really want to know, they'll do a little bit of research, and we've done a lot of that for them. So what happens during our lives? Why we know that it's important, but what happens that we had to come out with a product like CELLUVie?
No, look, this is a very good question, because people don't understand what happens in the course of your life. But when it
Right.
comes pertaining to glutathione, when you're born till the age of 20, your body produces as much as it can. for some unknown reason to science, which basically we believe that we found because of toxicity, stress, lifestyle, and a whole host of other conditions, you're starting to deplete your glutathione production exponentially, meaning that at age 40, you got 20% less. Oh, you say that's not so bad. Then at age 60, you got 40% less. Whoa, that becomes a bit more important. But at age 60, 70, you can go up to 60% less. So you can see that the curve is downward. And then isn't it around 60 to 70 years of age that people say that disease sets in more prevalently? And if they only knew that if you raise your glutathione level, then you're going to keep disease at bay. So basically, it's important to understand. And sorry, I go on, and I know you want to.
No, this is good. This is good.
The point in case here, I want to be very graphic. This is your lifespan, and if you take, glutathione precursor, this is your lifespan. That's basically what it is.
So when we use that term, it's critical for life itself. Glutathione, your body makes it, and it makes it in your cell, correct?
That's exactly correct.
And what happens? So we start the life cycle. We're getting older, and instead of getting better, we're getting less glutathione, and then we start to aging, illness, disease, death as you get into your 80s, 90s. And so, how do you replace the glutathione? What's the story there, and how does it help us flatten that curve, so to speak?
Okay, so there are two lines of thoughts, okay? And this is where it becomes very important. You have some companies that produce what we call glutathione pills, but most of what they're giving you is destroyed in the intestinal tract. But let's look at it more broadly. If you are disease prone and we give you a glutathione pill and you get some results, because you will get some results, we haven't not changed your baseline of glutathione production. So you're always going to be disease prone. But if we give you the ability to produce glutathione by giving you the substrates, the building blocks, then inevitably we're going to take your baseline and bring it up and give you better quality of life. The best example I can give is if your child, I have children and grandchildren, is not faring well at school, you don't give them brains to get better. You give them the right vitamins for the brain to react, you understand? Right. Or you find out that he is lacking sleep or he's stressed, and you create the environment. So what we're doing with CELLUVie is we're creating the proper environment with the proper substrates, which are building blocks called amino acids, and your body decides to start building its own store of glutathione. Now, the beauty here, David, is that if you take the product for a certain period of time, and then you decide that you're going on vacation and you forgot to take your CELLUVie, oh my God, hell is going to break. No, because the message, intracellular message, is still producing glutathione. And guess what? You're not going to go down below baseline. And when you come back from vacation, you take back your product, and then you're back to producing and taking care of the environmental conditions that are making you sick. So we're building it. That's what we're doing.
So what should our listeners, our associates, our teammates, what should they see or feel within a reasonable period of time after starting to take it?
Okay, here's what it is, David. We give the company, and the company gives a guarantee, and it's, some of it, it's marketing and all this, but it's not. We guarantee people that they will get undeniable results within 1 month of use. Now, the truth of the matter is that they will get results within 10 minutes of use, because it goes through the bloodstream and into the cellular structure. But here's what it is. We're not a pharmaceutical product where we attack, and when you attack a condition, it's a reaction. What we are doing is we're healing. A healing is a process. So the process starts the minute you take the product, within 10 minutes. And then it starts repairing within your organism, because we work at a cellular level, but they will see undeniable results within 1 month of use, or we give them back their money. So that's what we guarantee. 90% will get it much faster than this. but we don't want to go that route. Because, example, David, and I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I'm thinking
no,
we're not racing. A person's got a certain condition, because I was told you guys don't want me to say the words and all of this, but they have a certain condition that it took 53 years to get there. And then if you say that within a few weeks, we're going to get, first of all, they won't believe it, because people think, my God, natural products can't work that fast. Well, I'll tell you something, David. I have a glass of water here. Well, it's not a glass, it's a bottle. I'm thirsty right now because, we had some food and it was very salty. When I drink the water, I get a result instantaneously. My thirst has been quenched. There is a biochemical reaction that happened. Water is natural. It's not a pharmaceutical product. So the point with this is that CELLUVie will start working within 10 minutes, but the repair is a process. And that process, we guarantee within 1 month of use that people are going to get undeniable results.
it's interesting is one of our goals, and my goal is you have this body and this brain, and the responsibility that comes with it is like handing someone the keys to a jet and tell them to fly it, or a Ferrari or what have you. And our job, my goal is I want to get 110% out of my mental and physical capabilities. And down the road, when I'm old and way old and gray, I'm gonna still be rolling as fast as I can. I hope I wear the parts out and I pass away in my sleep. But I believe that this product, from what you're saying to me, is you're handing us the keys. We have this incredible machine, which is us, everyone there. We learned on the call the other night, it all starts with one egg, one cell, the largest cell in the body, the female egg. And the CELLUVie that you created exclusively for CTFO is like the high octane and high performance jet fuel to allow us to perform closest to our maximum 110% physical and mental capabilities. It's exciting, but am I correct?
You're actually very close to the truth, but I'll say it in different words.
Okay.
The other day I was watching a video about a guy who bought a Mustang, and he was supposed to have 750 horsepower, but when he put on the dyno machine, he only had 575.
Right.
They tried everything under the sun, and then somebody had the bright idea to say, let's have a look at what octane fuel did you put in your car. Right. When they changed it, he went close to 700 horsepower. Point in case, what you put in your body will make the difference. Now, the other night, you said that, you showed this nice diagram of a person, then your liver will live to be 500 days old, and then it's regenerated. So on average, it's 7 years that you are a new person. Right. Just understand that glutathione has the ability to regenerate your cells. We're going to accelerate that regenerative process within weeks in certain cases, within minutes in others. And in doing so, whatever dysfunctional fuel cells that made your Mustang be less performant will become a performance machine. So you're absolutely right. You and I, sorry. You and I are going to live over 100 years old. Yeah. There's no reason. Look, guys, I just want to say something. This is my personal testimonial. 15 bronchitis, 2 pneumonias that put me in hospital when I was a young man. I started studying the human anatomy, and then for the past 20 years, I have not taken so much as 1 aspirin. I go to Africa, I take no shots whatsoever, and I'm not being frivolous here. What I'm saying is, when you take care of your cellular structure with glutathione, you're strong. You are capable of taking care of the degenerative process. That's it.
Yeah, it's just a wonderful thing to be able to know that we have this product has the ability to help us take control of the outcome from here on the rest of our life, to have a direct input, not just, taking a vitamin. We all take great vitamins, but be able to enhance the body and the brain's ability, because everything starts at the cellular level. You talked about the other night, um, the food you eat becomes the nutrients that go into your cells. So we're talking at the cellular level. The mitochondria is producing energy. It takes that nutrients, it produces energy in, and one of the byproducts that's not so good is you end up, it has like smoke. It's like free radical. They're free radicals. It'd be like smoke coming out of the exhaust of your car. So how does CELLUVie work in that environment?
Here's what it is. CELLUVie, which is a glutathione, precursor in production,
Right.
will give you three major functions. The very first one, what you're discussing now, is the antioxidant function of the product. So when you breathe, the process that you're talking about, you rust like a nail. Yeah. When you're stressed, which is basically 80% of disease, you need to know something for the benefit of people on the line. 90% of disease, according to science, is your environment, your home, your work, your eating habits, all of this stuff. And within that, 80% is stress related. But why is it stress related? Because when you're stressed, you don't breathe normally. You're all tensed up, and then you create free radicals. And in doing so, you're actually eating away at your cellular structure like you described. So what glutathione is the most powerful antioxidant known to man, believe it or not. I know it's a very bold statement, but all the science will prove to you that any other antioxidant will not function unless your glutathione levels are high enough. So basically they work together and they protect each other. But the pathway for any other antioxidant is glutathione. So it is a neutralizer of free radical, which basically makes you age prematurely, takes away all of your energy, and basically will damage your cellular structure. So that's one of the functions.
Right. It's drilling down a little bit. What you're saying is that CELLUVie gets into my body and into my cells, delivers the building blocks so that your cells produce the glutathione. And so everybody here understands is what I find fascinating about the science is my eyeball. There's cells that make up my eyeball. In the very back of the eye, I read the other day that there's a cell that helps me see color.
Yeah.
And so I say to myself, do you want to replicate healthy, vital, energetic cells? Well, of course. Or do I want to regenerate unhealthy cells? When you put it like that, it's very personal. And I think it's motivating because I have this fear. My heart, glutathione gets into your heart cells, correct?
Of course, it's everywhere. By the way, glutathione is in plants.
Yeah.
It's in animals. It's so wide ranging that people can. You guys might not believe this, but I use some of this for growing my tomatoes. I mean, and you know what? I had black beauty tomatoes in July when farmers told me black beauty tomatoes don't grow in July. I mean, when you understand, trying to be very big here, it is so wide ranging that it's too good to be true, and we got to bring it down to manageable, like you do, words and pictures that people can understand. Guys, this is so essential. It will make your skin look so nice. It will give you the energy like a young man. It will protect you against certain conditions, and that I'm sure you're going to ask me the next question, and then we're going to get into it.
I just want to say one more thing is when I mentioned earlier that the largest cell is the female egg, the DNA in your cell passes from the parent to the child. And in heredity, it passes from cell to cell. So your cell health has an impact on the next generation in your family, correct?
Of course, not only that, your state of mind, and if you research glutathione, you're going to see that it has a lot of benefits for depression. We call it bipolar. A lot of and I know we're not going to be specific, but I want people to understand it goes beyond the blood-brain barrier, and it plays a very important role for you to replicate the right type of cells. Instead, it's very simple, David. You have a war inside of your body. We're parasites, bacteria, and viruses. And then you got the good guys, they're proliferating, and you got the bad guys. If the good guys don't overcome the bad guys, you're sick, and science gives it a certain condition, a name to it. It's a cellular dysfunction. We want the good guys to win. That's all we want.
Just moving on a little bit, talk about bioavailability. I mean, what we've talked about so far is it's the bioavailability of the product, our product, the CELLUVie product, compared to other whey protein isolates out there in the market.
Yes. Okay. Look, the problem is when people start comparing, they don't compare apples to apple.
Right.
And the best example I give, and I like to be graphic, is I gave the example of a Lada and a Mercedes. Obviously, one has no technology, the other has. But you've got bodybuilding ways that have sugar, they have sweeteners, and they have other components that your body needs to metabolize. So basically, and most of them are denatured, meaning that the essential amino acid bond has been broken. In our case, what we do is we preserve that bond, and then we have a special proprietary process, which it took 26 years of research to put it together, and we're bringing the bioavailability of the product as high as possible. And then we don't want to give numbers, but basically it's the highest on the market. And the bioactive properties, because you got to understand, this is a live product. It is in a container, and it's a powder, and it looks like it's dead. But it's a bit like a flower. You have a flower pot at home and say, oh my God. And then you put water, and half an hour later, it sprung to life. Where in our case, it springs to life, and after 1 hour, it starts, denaturing again. So the point of the matter is, David, to answer your question, is you have the highest bioavailable product on the market today. And people ask me, how can you prove that, Robert? I tried this other product, and it's good. I said, I'll tell you what, did you ever try such and such? Yeah. And how was it? Well, I said, I had trouble digesting it. I say, try ours. And they say, oh, I had no trouble digesting yours. It's not the digestibility in their head, is the bioavailability, that the body, the cell structure can, recognize the product and use it for what it's supposed to be used. So that's the difference. It is subtle difference, but it is a big difference in science.
Right. So if I asked you the loaded question, if there was one nutritional product you could take and only one in your life, would it be CELLUVie? How's that one, Robert?
I'll tell you what, if I didn't answer yes, then I'm not your guest tonight. But there is, you're right, David. It's a loaded question where it has to be yes, but there's a reason why it's yes. Life will begin. It's not true. Sorry. Cellular structure begins and the functions with glutathione. So inevitably taking a glutathione precursor of the highest quality, which is what CELLUVie is, would be the foundation for you to be healthy. Now, of course, after that, we can always embellish, because there are cofactors, meaning you've got a product that has the multivitamin and vitamin C, B complex, and all that you have is actually working in unison with the product. So we're actually the foundation. Just imagine, people, that your cells are healthy with glutathione, with CELLUVie. Then if you're forced to take a pharmaceutical product, it will work better. But if you're taking a vitamin, that vitamin will work better. If you're eating your own food, your food will give you better results. So healthy cells are at the foundation of whatever condition you're going to be, healthy or unhealthy, as you said.
As we come to the end of part one, and part two for everybody who's on the webinar tonight will be next Tuesday, and we'll have Robert back again. We'll do part two, but I want to finish with just a couple questions. Is if you're lactose intolerant, or milk, etc., have an issue, give people a quick understanding of what's important.
It's misunderstood.
Correct.
David, there is 0.4% lactose in our product.
Right.
Okay. The most lactose intolerant people in the world will detect at 1.5. So for all intent purpose, we're 4 times lower. Okay. So inevitably, they're not going to see it. They can take our product, but the answer doesn't stop there. Yeah. The problem is psychosomatic. People who are lactose intolerant are afraid. Oh, I can't eat cheese. I can't take milk. I can't take this. And then they're afraid. So what we do and what we tell people is very simple. We have a loading dose protocol, which is 3 scoops a day for the first 15 days, because we want to make sure that if there's something real bad inside your system, we're going to give you a result. When we talk to a lactose intolerant person, we tell them, look, we'll take care of you. How about if we start you lower? That's just to appease the fear. It's a psychosomatic fear, and then we build you up. They will never get the cramps. But even if you told them that they won't get the cramps, get what? They will get the cramps because they're out of fear. Right. If you put me in a bin with a bunch of cobras, I don't care how much you tell me that they're not going to touch me. I will be in fear. You understand? Because I don't like snakes. So this is how, and I'm being very graphic. So, and then there's the other aspect of protein allergy. That is a totally different disease. Only 1 out of 1.5 million children are born with that disease, and they never make it to be 17 years of age. So obviously they can't take our product. But the parents that call, in the whole history of our company, I had 4 calls, unbelievable, of parents who wanted me to help their children. And I said, listen, if it is milk protein allergy, then you already know the answer. And the parent told me, yes, but I had to ask. You understand? Right. Even though with all the processes that go into making the product, it is not a milk byproduct or cheese byproduct. These children cannot take it. So that's the only difference, and it's on the bag. It is written on the bag.
That's perfect. I wanted to ask that question just so we got it out. They heard it from you, because it's really important for that person. Last question for tonight is, how would you recommend our people take CELLUVie? You talked about loading and then getting on maintenance. Can you just give them the best advice?
Yeah, the best advice is this one. And it's a general advice, no matter what your condition. We want you to start on 3 scoops per day. And a lot of people say, well, that's going to cost a lot, Robert. No, it's not. What we're going to do is raise that glutathione, those healthy cells, high enough that they can overcome your dying cells. Now, most people don't know what their inner conditions are. I've had so many patients go to the doctors, and then they go to the doctor, and the doctor says, you're fine. And then a month later, they have generalized cancer. So point in case here, and I'm not talking about cancer, I'm talking about cellular structure. What I'm saying is we're going to make sure that your healthy cells will proliferate faster and overcome the dying cells. And in doing so, you will see a result much faster. Once you start seeing that result, then you go down to 2 scoops a day for the next 10 days. And then you've done the full month, and you have a result, a guaranteed result. After that, it's a maintenance dose. But here's what it is, David. Maintenance dose goes with lifestyle. And I'm going to be very graphic here. I have someone that called me many, many years ago, and her father had a tumor. Long story short, put him on a product, the tumor is gone, there's an MRI, and the doctors say, man, it's miraculous, it's unbelievable. 8 months later, she calls me up and she's mad and she's cursing at me, and the cancer came back. And I say, what is stressing your father? She said, how would you know my father is stressed? Listen, your father was 82, so now he's 83. My product hasn't changed, so his environment has changed. Well, she said to me, Robert, my sister came back from Western Canada They're fighting like when she was 17 years old. I say, tell your father to tell her to go back to Western Canada or she will kill him. 2 months later, he was dead. Point in case. And I know, man,
Yeah.
the point in case, it's a lifestyle issue. We don't know what's going inside of a person. So Christmas is coming. The family is going to be together. Your stress level is going to go up. You take more product. You go on vacation, you forgot to take your product. It doesn't matter. You bring in on the beach, you're sipping pina coladas. You only take 1 scoop. You play with the product. Now, I know there are some professionals on the line tonight that are going to say, well, you know, we don't like this idea of, you know, playing with the product. It is not a pharmaceutical product. It is a supplement in the States, and basically it is a functional food. You take it according to what you want. But to answer your question properly, the first month, if you follow our protocol of use, we guarantee results. And then you go down to a manageable 1 scoop per day, which is very inexpensive if you look at the results. And you can, why 1 scoop? People tell me, oh, if you got rid of certain conditions for me, why would I take one? 90% of your disease condition is environmental. It's not because you took CELLUVie that you know, you're going to quit your job. Or if you're fighting with your husband or your wife all the time, or you hate your boss, that's not going to change. So your environment is still attacking you. So what we got to do is clean out this cellular debris because of these attacks that make oxidative stressors. And in doing so, we're keeping you in a nice state of quality of life. That's the best answer.
Great. Thank you very much. And thank you for your time tonight. We just passed about a half an hour. I think it's a great time so that we'll record it. People will be able to replay it. The questions and your answers were succinct, to the point. I really appreciate that. My name is David D'Arcangelo. This is Robert, our formulator. The product, we are having a warehouse for our Canadians. We are warehousing product, getting ready. When we begin the shipping, you need to order now to take advantage of the discounts. But the product for our Canadians will be, it'll be in the United States and ship it in the United States, but our Canadians will have a warehouse in Canada, will ship from Canada. Robert is from the Quebec area. So I appreciate it, everybody. I would encourage you to get ready, get as many people as you can on for the next Tuesday night call, and just be aware the decisions you make today will determine your tomorrow. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. And Robert, thank you, and you have a good night.
Thanks, David. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.